Hi, everybody. I'm Mrs. Larson, and welcome to our back to school night. It's kind of a weird way to say back to school when we're all looking at a computer screen, but that's just the crazy world in which we live in right now and what we have to do to keep everybody safe. So if you need to get a hold of me, there's my email address and then also a phone number for the school. So I am here every day from pretty much about 7:30 to 3:30. And so if you want to call the main office and have them patch through to me so we can chat, that'd be great anytime. Okay, so, I love to talk to people and meet people in person. And so this is hard to say, here, let me tell you about myself. And so I'm going to try and do my best. So here's a little bit about me. I'm going to move myself down here a little bit. There we go. I am married with kiddos. I have two boys. These are my two sons over here. They're in their mid-20s. I can't hardly believe I can say that. My oldest son there on the left is Nathan. He is currently serving in Afghanistan. He's in the National Guard. And then my youngest son, Brandon, he is 23. And he's also in the military. And thankfully, he's stationed here at JBLM. And so I do get to see him all the time. The third little boy there is Snickers. And he's 13 and he is just a crazy little Jack Russell Terrier that I just love to pieces. So this is my wonderful husband, Lance, here at the top. As you can see, we are big Cougar fans. I did graduate from WSU. And so we try and get to Pullman as often as we can for those games. I was so excited when they said that the Pac-12 was they were actually going to have games this year. So I'm excited, but I'm sad that I don't get to go to the Martin Stadium to see them. Teaching is my second career, and I can honestly say that without Lance's support, I wouldn't be a teacher today. He really pushed me to pursue teaching as my second career after I retired from business after 25 years. And, I really have him to thank for just loving teaching. So I am a Northwest native. I love the Pacific Northwest, even though it rains all the time and we complain about it and all of that jazz, but I do love it here. And I'm so happy that the Pacific Northwest is my home. All right, so let's get right into a couple of things here. And I'm going to try not to move my picture around too much because that can be kind of distracting. But so some of the materials that your student needs every day for our live Google Meet classes. So now, obviously, they need a computer or Chromebook, or like an iPad, or if you're using, a MacBook or something along those lines, they need that every single day. They also need a little mini whiteboard with markers and an eraser. They need their ELA textbook. They should have already gotten their ELA textbook. It's kind of big and thick, and this is a picture of the cover. They also need an ELA spiral notebook, and this is just to take notes in. If they have loose leaf paper, and they want to put it into like a 3-ring binder, I'm okay with that too. That's not a big deal. But they need some sort of paper to write on every day, and which they can some way to keep it organized. And then pencils and pens, and of course, an eraser in case we make some mistakes. So the expectation for technology is that it is distraction free. This can be really difficult. We all have our cell phones. We've got the TV on, so that includes no video games. Try not to have their cell phone next to them. Try not to have the TV on. Try not to have music on in the background. All of those different things that can be distractions. It is hard when we're at home because you want to look out the window. Maybe you've got your dog that wants to sit next to you, or is demanding a treat. Little Snickers would be demanding a treat if I was at home every minute. So, and of course he'd want to be on the camera to see the kids. But so those types of distractions, we really need to limit those or eliminate them as much as possible. I have noticed over the last several weeks that there are students who I think maybe they might be on their video games at the same time as class. And so, I am constantly reminding them, make sure you only have one tab open, make sure you have your Google Meet tab open, those types of things. So just something to be aware of. Make sure that the camera is on. They have to have their camera on. I want to be able to see them. That's the way we connect, and I can kind of see who's confused and who might have a question or who's really getting, the subject that we're talking about. It's great to have that virtual face-to-face. And then The expectation is that their microphone is off, and that's for background noise and several different reasons. But their microphone is off unless I call on them, and then they, of course, can unmute their microphone and answer the question or talk to me or what have you. There is a chat feature on Google Meet, and it is on the sidebar. It is for questions only. It's not the chat like we would think if we're like texting our friends or those types of things. The chat is for questions only. Students have been really, really good about keeping the chat to questions only and not carrying on like side conversations while we're teaching. So that's been great. So just a little quick review of the curriculum. And really each day consists of 3 components. There is a lesson that is live that I give every day as a whole group. Sometimes it might be a recording of another teacher giving the lesson, but I am there the entire time. And so that there is always that lesson. 2 is practice. So practice means 3 different things. There can be 3 different ways in which we practice. Students on some days might break into 2 different groups. One where they go and do an electronic guided practice, which means it's independent, okay? And they're done after the whole group lesson. There might be a small group lesson with me, in which case the students would stay with me on the Google Meet. Or the third option there is a small group with Mrs. Eklund. She is our intervention language arts teacher who is amazing. And so sometimes there's going to be students who are also going to go and be in a small group with her. The third component of the curriculum involves homework. Really homework, I've got several different things that the students are required to do for homework. They are posted every day, and it says, on Google Classroom, it says homework, okay? So part of that homework piece, oh, and I'm gonna move myself up again here, is independent reading requirements. And so I do require that students read 20 minutes a day, and that equals out to 120 minutes a week. So now those of you that are math people, you're thinking, well, Adrienne, 120 minutes, that's not 7 days. And you know what, you're right. So the students are allowed 1 free day because, you know, life happens, right? I mean, we get caught up in different things, and sometimes there's just things that, you know, are unavoidable. And so students get 1 free day. The reading logs are due every Monday, and they get a new one every week. It's posted on Google Classroom under the Classworks tab, and it says homework, and it says reading log. And there's one for every student. So it's got their name already on it. All they have to do is fill it out. Now, the beauty about this read 20 minutes a day, while the expectation is that they are reading a novel at some point on their own, the reading logs, if they want to put reading for like science, or I don't know how much reading they're doing in math, but if they want to put that information on the reading log, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. So if a student read 30 minutes in their science textbook, they can put that on their reading log. I'm fine with that. However, they just need to know that approximately once every 4 to 6 weeks, we do a book talk. And so I'm going to talk about that next. Oh, and I skipped right over it. And this is one of my favorite things too, is I love book talks, and they're very similar to like a book club where students can really read any genre that they want. I really want them to read something that they like and to find kind of like their niche when it comes to reading. And so there's so many different titles out there. I have posted on Google Classroom a website. It's called ReadWorks. There's tons of different novels that the students can download for free. Also, the Pierce County Library, you can get plenty of novels. I think they have like drive-up service now. If you just go onto their website, it's actually pretty neat. If for whatever reason there's a book that your student really wants and you haven't been able to find it at the library, you can't find it on a digital download, I have got a ton of books, even though it doesn't look like it behind me because I kind of cleared out my classroom getting ready for hybrid learning, but I have a ton of books and they're in storage, but I can still get to them. And so if there's a certain book that your student wants, please have them email me. And I've said this to the students too, but sometimes it's nice to have mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle or somebody remind them hey, you know what, if you really want that book, email Mrs. Larson. She probably has it. And if that's the case, I'll put it in the front office with their name on it. And then, you guys can come pick it up at your leisure. Okay. Book talks are essentially like book clubs, except for you're doing your own independent reading. And you're going to give, your student is going to give an oral presentation in the form of a video. And so this is about once every 4 to 6 weeks, and it just kind of depends on our schedule. So our first one is scheduled for the week of October 12th. So here's just a little bit about grading. So those of you that are as old as I am can remember this picture. I love this picture because it shows the grade book, the way we used to do things. But tests and quizzes are 40%, homework is 40%, and practice is 20%. Late work, I have to tell you, I am pretty lenient when it comes to late work. Don't let that out, because these are crazy times, and so I understand that. So I take into account some of the things that are happening with families, and as long as students email me and let me know that their work is going to be late, or send me a little message on Google Classroom, it's usually fine. So I have this little quote here, and I think it's pretty apropos for the times in which we find ourselves in. Life is like riding a bicycle. So to keep your balance, you must keep moving. Boy, don't we know that? So if you have any questions regarding anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email is here again, and my phone number. So thanks for watching, and I'm excited to have a great year with your student.